Hi, I'm Jim Calhoun, former basketball coach here for 26 years at University of Connecticut. Before that, 14 years at Northeastern University in Boston. Before that, a high school coach for 3 years, and before that, a graduate assistant for 2 years. So I've been around the game an awful lot of basketball. I'm here to speak to the class today about college athletics because of a good friend, former childhood, I'd say friend, but more importantly, rival. He went to Archbishop Williams, a Catholic high school in Braintree, Massachusetts, and I went to Braintree High. And I think Dick and I got to know each other through elbows and maybe a few words with each other, and maybe a great rivalry playing on the basketball streets of Braintree. And it was great. I mean, he's a tremendous person, was a great player at Bowdoin, as some of you do know, and great coach at Colby College, and one of my favorite people, and really loved the way he loved college athletics, loved the kids, and loved the game. So we have a lot of connection, Coach Whitmore and myself, and now he's a lobster king, and he's still a great basketball person. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk to you today. How I'm going to do this is I've got a friend of mine who's going to be reading questions that you folks asked about, and I'm more than happy to talk to you about college athletics and hopefully give you a little insight on what it looks like over the past 45 years.
Coach, talk about the difference you see in college athletics from when you started at Northeastern to today's game.
Well, a long time ago, I started coaching college basketball in 1972. I was 29 years old, heading towards 30, and got the head job at Northeastern University. We were going from Division I to Division II. That seems like a long time ago. I don't mean just age, but the way the game has changed. At that time, there were about 200 Division I schools. Today, by the way, there's 355 schools. And the game has changed greatly because you had basically unlimited scholarships. If you wanted to give 18 scholarships out, you could. If you wanted to recruit 365 days a year, you could. You could go. So basically, there were rules certainly about recruiting. But as far as the flexibility, you were allowed to do almost most things you wanted to do in the sense of going out and seeing kids. You were allowed to take kids to restaurants. A lot of kind of different worlds in many, many ways. And I guess less suspicion of what we would and couldn't do about the rules. And more importantly, the game itself started to change in some ways because at that time a scholarship for, limited number of kids. Remember, very few scholarships, no scholarships Division III, some scholarships at Division II, and minimal scholarships at Division I. You could have unlimited, but that was at the big schools, at the Kentuckys, at the Kansas, not the schools like Bowdoin, which happened to be Division III, or AIC, where I went to school, or UMass, where I started school. No, none of that. And so the game has changed greatly in the importance of scholarships. I had one assistant coach. I had 4 my last year here at UConn 3 years ago. So the game has changed greatly. The love of the game hasn't changed. The competitiveness hasn't changed. The excitement hasn't changed. But the national scope of the game has really changed, and the institution has changed greatly. Going forward, some of those things we did then in the sense of recruiting, people used to say, do you hate recruiting? You have to be out on the road all the time? I was put on the road, paid to go see kids play basketball. I always thought that was pretty good, and I didn't mind doing it all those times. Maybe that's why I ended up being a pretty good recruiter. But bottom line, game has changed, and more than happy to talk about that later.
Coach, the football with the Power 5 conferences coming into play with football, what do you see the Power 5 conferences' influence on the basketball game?
Well, Power 5 is something that has really changed everything. And really, as I started to say, I started as a head coach in 1972. By 1979, a great event happened. Larry Bird played Magic Johnson on TV. Considered the greatest game ever, not in the sense of how the game was played, but from a national attention standpoint, it became a dominant figure. It made at that time Sports Illustrated front cover, Sport, which is a big magazine, New York Times, everything. That was the game. And it kind of led into the magical era of college basketball being on TV. With that came the next big aspect, money. Coaches went from being paid as high school teachers, sometimes less, to being paid at that time $500,000 or $600,000 to coach basketball. The game changed. So many different aspects of the game changed, and that led eventually into the early 2000s when the Power 5 started to form very slowly 15, 16 years ago. Teams in schools and universities realized they could market and brand their universities through basketball, football first because of just the vast nature of 80, 90,000 people into basketball, March Madness, all the great things we now see on TV, and the money aspect started becoming college basketball. I can tell you right now, and I'm sure Coach Whitmore could talk about this, but when we played basketball, we played to try to win and do well, not necessarily to get to tournaments and get to the NBA. Today that all has changed, and TV has become the major influencer of all college athletics, including the Power Five. How it's going to change things, I can't say. I will say this: I don't think the movement has stopped. I think it's going to continue. I think you'll see a reduction in the number of Division I basketball teams, Division I football teams, or as you call it, the Power Five. There'll be an inclusion of the now roughly 110 schools who make up the Power Five. I think eventually it'll be about 130, and after that, I think there'll be another division, as we call it, 1AA today. I think that 1AA will suffer. I don't know where the basketball tournament's going. You got to have the underdogs to make the special occurrence every single March in April. But right now, I still think change is on the way, and so I'm kind of giving you an up in the air answer. You guys can probably discuss amongst yourself. Where's it going? Where's the money going? Where's all the aspects of it going? It's only getting bigger, though. That much I can tell you.
Along those lines, where do you see the Big East Conference in the near future?
Well, the Big East have made a great comeback. Once ourselves, Syracuse, Pittsburgh, and so on left, the conference to try to better themselves in football and basketball divisions. The Big East has become a terrific basketball conference. I don't know how much say they're going to have to play. Now, I think Villanova winning this year was very significant for them. But I think in the aspect of college athletics, it is still run by football programs. I think that anytime you don't understand that. Now, the NCAA is run, remember, for basketball, because football money does not go to the NCAA. This year, the NCAA men's basketball tournament took in $771 million for its men's basketball tournament. Everything else in the NCAA lost money. So the only money funding comes through the men's basketball tournament. That being the case, I still think you're going to include it as we go forward. The Big East certainly has to be a great part of that because they have terrific basketball institutions. I only think it's getting stronger, but keeping in its own realm. That I mean being just a pure basketball school. Conference.
Do you see any major changes on the immediate future for Division I athletics?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a division, but I think it's very difficult. As I talk about, I think there's going to be football and basketball still. Everything else loses money. As a matter of fact, most football programs lose money. A lot of basketball programs. Not the tournament now, but most programs are losing money. So as we get to some kind of fiscal economic sense, I guess, common sense, we're going to have to find out the best way to brand our universities, the best way to put these great programs as a front porch, not the university itself, as something to attract people, to get attention, to get federal monies, to get alumni money, fundraising, all those kind of things. I do think there'll be a paring down of the power teams, but conversely, the NCAA tournament would be nothing, in my opinion, without the underdogs. You got to have those Cinderella darlings every single, March Madness. There's great things that are happening, and so it's a very complex issue. It's going to be very fun, and I think it'd be a great chance for you guys in class to discuss where do you think it's going. Don't ever underestimate the power of the buck, though. That is becoming very, very important in athletics. I think we see it everywhere. But, as I talk about the great change in college athletics, remember that, for example, we have over 600 student athletes here at UConn. The vast majority of them aren't going to the NBA. We've had 32 first-round draft choices. We've been very fortunate in basketball, in men's basketball. But point being is that try to think of the college athletic programs, which are wonderful, tremendous competitions, tremendous things. That shouldn't, and hopefully will never be going away. But on the other side is the incredible marketability that we have with college athletics. Incredible things that are happening on the college campuses for all kinds of student athletes. And I think we've got to continue to understand how important that becomes for institutions. The fact that there are basketball coaches and football coaches making $5, $6, $7 million a year kind of tells you all you need to know about the importance of what happens with those programs. I would think that it'd be great if some of you could actually discuss what's going to happen. You asked me, and I give you hopefully a random digressions, but I mean it's random, and I'm digressing, but I'm not really, because I don't think any of us know what the future is, because we're trying to fit sometimes something very square into a round peg, and it's just not working because we're trying to get student athletes, tremendous competition, and make money all at the same time. Sometimes they don't all fit, but it's an exciting time. I still believe in college athletics and in what it's done for me, what it's done for Coach Whitmore, and for so many of us. But I think it's a great topic to discuss. Where's this all going? Because it's a really interesting subject.
And last question, Coach. Dick sees you, as many of us do, as one of the major impact people of the 21st century. He considers you one of the best on TV. Will you be continuing your present role in TV?
Well, I continue my present role in TV, and I appreciate Dick saying I'm one of the impactful people, be it certainly Mike Krzyzewski and some of the great coaches that have gone along. And I'm very fortunate in the sense that I've been fortunate to win games and national championships and had great kids that are all part of us. But, I think I was very fortunate to get a job at a young age in Northeastern. I was someone asked me, were you lucky to get the job? I was very fortunate to get the job, but when the door did knock, I was ready. And that's the thing I would tell all you, with you being athletic administration, will you ever be, make sure though when that door knocks, when you open it, you're ready to do business. I never tried to become any more than a high school coach. Never tried to become any more than a college coach at a lower division. Never tried to become any more than the best coach at UConn. And somehow, through that work, all of it worked out. So my lasting words would be simply, if you try to win every single day, as a person, as an administrator, as an athletic director, as a communication director, as a coach, it's all going to take care of itself. Don't worry about the future. That's going to all take care of itself if you try to win every day. If you win every day, the weeks are good, the months become better, and certainly the year takes care of itself. So always start with an end in mind, but take care of today. Hey, great talking to you guys. Look forward to talking to you in person sometimes. Thanks.